Hello, Cambridge Lower Secondary Checkpoint candidates. Let's converge here and attempt the following question. Can you see the question before you? All right, let's review it together. This cactus lives in a hot and dry desert. So it's a desert plant. And this has to do with habitats of living organisms, both plants and animals alike, and ecology, and it also has to do with the biology of living things in the environment. The cactus has spines, as you can see, or you can call them spikes. It has a stem, then the sand from which the plant protrudes, and the roots that extends into the ground for the purpose of absorbing water and nutrients. Now let's move downwards. A part of the question says, the cactus has long roots that spread out in the sand. 1. Suggest how the roots help the cactus survive in a hot and dry desert. Remember, in the desert, there is always insufficient or almost lack of water due to the fact that it is a dry environment. So the amount of rainfall per year is scanty. Suggest how the roots help the cactus survive in the hot and dry desert. The most expected response to this question is the fact that the roots helps to absorb more water. You can also say it helps to collect more water because it has a large surface area. So by the extension into the ground, it draws in water and nutrients. So this is the most probable answer for 1 mark. Then A2 says, explain one other way the cactus is adapted to living in the hot and dry desert. To get a clue to this answer, go back to the diagram, study the body structure. You can see it has spines here. It has a very thick and fleshy stem. It has long roots that extend into the ground and other features you can observe here. One of the most expected response to this question is the fact that instead of the possession of leaves, it rather possesses spines or spikes that are pointy and not broad, as in the case of leaves on plants, that helps to take in carbon dioxide into the body of the plant through the stomata, and also the loss of water from the leaf through the stomata and sometimes the lenticels. Explain one other way the cactus is adapted to living in the hot and dry desert. You can say it possesses spikes or spines. Spikes or spines to reduce water loss. To reduce water loss. Or you can say to reduce loss of water. So the pikes is modified into tiny and pointy ends that does not allow the escape of water through evaporation from the body of the plants. Then the B part of the question reads, the cactus is eaten by kangaroo rats. The kangaroo rats are eaten by snakes. Desert foxes feed on snakes. Complete the food chain for these organisms. In every ecosystem, there is the interaction and interdependence between 2 or more organisms in the feeding chain or the trophic level of the ecosystem. So we call that feeding level or trophic level the food chain, where energy is transferred from one organism to another. So this question requires us to arrange this eating pattern or feeding pattern in the correct sequence. The cactus is eaten by kangaroo rats. The kangaroo rats are eaten by snakes. Desert foxes feed on snakes. Complete the food chain for this organism. So what we're expected to do here is to identify the first organism that starts up the food chain. So the first sentence gives me a clue. The cactus is eaten by kangaroo rats. So the cactus comes in first, being the plant. So cactus, you write that in the box provided. Cactus. Then is eaten by kangaroo rats. So what follows the cactus will be the kangaroo rats. They feed on cactus plant. Kangaroo, I'll continue it here. The kangaroo rats. Then the next line says the kangaroo rats are eaten by snakes. So what should follow kangaroo rats in that sequence is the snakes. So you write snakes in this box. Then the last line says desert foxes feed on snakes. So what comes after snakes is the desert foxes feeds on snakes. So the trophic level continues and energy is being transferred from one organism to another, and this goes for 2 marks. So when you do this, you are on your way to earning more points in your Cambridge Lower Secondary checkpoint. Let's do this again in my next episode. Do subscribe to my channel and expect more of these interactions. Bye.